Gentlemen No Class is proud to be a part of the HC Universal Network. Gentlemen No Class is produced, mixed, and edited by M5 Studios.
This podcast contains explicit language and is intended for adult audiences. The views and opinions of Gentlemen No Class are strictly for comedic purposes and should not be taken literally. For instance, like this disclaimer. Now grab yourself a pint and enjoy.
And welcome to another episode of Gentlemen No Class, the podcast where when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro. I am Rob, and this is my esteemed guest and colleague, Mr. Kyle Durst. Kyle, say hi to everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
And we are, so Paul has graced us. He told me he wasn't coming, but he decided to show up anyway, but he's just going to hang out on the floor and make fun of us. So let me see if I can get a shot of Paul from the overhead cam. No, maybe like his foot. You might be able to see his foot. Nope, still not in it. All right, you're good.
He's there.
He's there. For sure he's here. So Jake bailed on us for Astros tickets. I know it's been a while since we've broadcasted and come at you guys, but we have been just super busy, or at least I have been, and they've been lazy apparently because they haven't recorded any episodes without me. So just goes to show you where the talent lies. I just want to remind everybody that we are sponsored by Eureka Heights, and we just picked up a new sponsor the other day. Actually, not really a sponsorship as much as a cross-promotional thing that we're going to be doing with Houston's newest tattoo shop over on the East End, Painstaking Art. My buddy Tracy, who's been on this show before, go check that out. It was really fun listening to him get hammered and talk about tattooing. But they are at 5906 Canal Street in Edo, which is East Downtown, and they just opened up and they're kicking ass. So go over there, get a cool tattoo. Tell them we sent you. I don't know that that'll get you anything extra or cool, but I mean, here's to hoping. But you know what you can get that's extra cool is this. I finally remembered to ask for this and got it taken care of. So check this out. Online orders, you can put in the discount code ClassyBoys at eurekaheights.com for beer pickup and get 25% off of your order. Just use that code ClassyBoys. You get 25% off. You go pick up your order and tell them we sent you over there. And then, you know, it's 25% off a beer. And they have cool shit in there that they don't have on the store shelves. And there's, you know, I forget what's out right now. Tipsy Clover, stuff like that. I've heard rumors that the Fizzy Pants is going away from store shelves. So like the tap room may be the only place that you can pick it up. So if you like the Fizzy Pants, that's where you have to go get it. So again, code ClassyBoys. Go check that out. Get your 25% off. Everything's backwards. So there's the logo. And our Venmo, if you want to support us, buy us a beer. Venmo at Beer Me Damn It. All right, now we got all the hard stuff out of the way. Kyle and I had to sit down and make a list of all the stuff that we have missed since the last time we hung out and talked to each other about Marvel. So
It's been a long time.
When was the last time we talked about it? Catch everybody up. It was
WandaVision.
WandaVision, right?
Yeah. And like we were talking about at that time, that was the first thing we'd gotten in over a year. And now between WandaVision and now, there has been
just a barrage, a plethora, if you will.
So much.
Yeah.
So much. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been really enjoying it. So we'll go over the list of things. The biggest one, I think, this thing is not wanting to stay put. Maybe if I just do it like this. Okay. So I think the biggest thing, at least the biggest game changer show thus far has been Loki. That kind of like set the tone for all of Phase 4. Like it was really a it showed like in-game set it up. Obviously, it gave you a spin-off that wasn't supposed to happen with Loki grabbing the Tesseract. And we kind of talked about Loki a little bit, but And as the shows were coming out, Jake and I were, he was like, what's your favorite show? And I was like, well, WandaVision. And then the next show would come out and I'd be like, oh, it's that show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. And then the next show would come out and be like, oh, it's Loki. And then it was every show. And like, I'm just a huge horror fanboy, you know what I mean? So like,
I'm a sheep.
Everything was awesome. You know what I mean? Just like,
every time a new teaser comes out for another show or another movie, anyone's always like, what do you think about it? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm a sheep. Yeah, of course, I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, don't go based on what I think about it because I think it's awesome. And regardless of whether it sucks or not, like I'm going to think it's great and I'm going to fucking watch it. So let's start at the top, I guess. Like we watched, we talked about WandaVision. WandaVision was basically, I think we had the finale episode left was the only episode. We talked about what was the possibilities of the finale. And that's where we left off.
I think so. Yeah.
So I mean,
and a lot of people didn't like the finale, and a lot of criticism about these shows are the final episodes, and I don't get it. I thought the finale of WandaVision was amazing, and by the way, it's still my favorite series.
Is it?
Yeah.
So. I mean, I have to. I've backtracked on that. It was my favorite series, Scarlet Witch being. I've said this multiple times on the show. Scarlet Witch being one of my favorite, if probably my second favorite Marvel character behind Captain America. But I really liked that show. But when Loki came out, it kind of rewrote the playbook for like what a Marvel show could be and how much fan service can you throw into a show and not make it seem pandering. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed. The way that they've like this big brain of Kevin Feige, like how he has taken this whole idea of they've acquired all these properties and like how do you spin that to make it all one cohesive unit? Well, you do something that the comics have done for years and you make a multiverse. Yeah. And the way that they did it was, and the way they explained why it hadn't come up before, it was so ingenious to me. Like the way that Loki did it, it was, I mean, the biggest like jump out of my seat and applaud moment came when at the end of Loki on the finale, when the elevator door opens and what's his name? I forget the actor's name.
Jonathan Majors.
Yes, Jonathan Majors. And I knew that he was playing Kang. He had been that was already in the been confirmed. So when he opened that door, I was like, I jumped out of my seat and I was like, yes, like this is where they were going with this.
Well, I love it when there's a big reveal like that and it's exactly what everyone was thinking, and it's like you could take that as, oh, well, they could have done something, but no, it's like it's fun. It's fun when the whole time building, it's like I hope it's him, but it's too obvious. But then it just is him. And it's just like yes, and
it's not the Mephisto, you know.
he was so fantastic in that last episode.
Oh yeah.
That to me, that was easily that was, as far as finales of these shows go, probably one of the better ones. Easy.
Yeah, I was not expecting the actual I was not expecting Sophie to actually kill him. Like I was like, no, they're not going to do that. Like, but then I was like, well, they kind of have to. Like, that's how you create. I mean, the multiverse already exists, but like the way that they were explaining it was like, even though the multiverse exists, they made sure that in every universe, time and events progress the exact same way.
Yes, and that has only been cleared up just recently for me, for everyone. I feel like
really, because I assumed that as the show was going on
until just recently in Multiverse of Madness. That's when I was finally like, oh, okay, so the same beats are happening in every universe. Yeah, they're all fighting at that. They're all the same kind of like beats are happening, and I was like, oh well, that makes it a little bit better. Because if I'm being honest, the multiverse thing is rad, and it's comes straight from the comics, which, they've been doing that forever. And I guess it's really naturally the kind of best way to go after Endgame. But to me, it's hard not to think that just, no, what matters now? Like there's so many Doctor Stranges out there. There's so many of this character. There's so many of this, like, who are we supposed to care about now? It just, everything gets it's just so much, and it's so much fun. Yes. But I really loved just the thorough storyline. You know what I mean? And, and that's why I'm glad that we got, we got the Infinity Saga. We got that big wrap up. We got that big kind of like, you can kind of see that as a beginning and an end. And now we're just having fun. And,
you were talking about this earlier. Like this is really just your icing on the cake, and you didn't want to go too deep into it while we were sitting here just BSing. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that they do break this thing open, because they still kind of really haven't totally. And I thought that was going to be Multiverse of Madness, and in a way it was, but they really didn't go too nuts with it. It was much more contained than I thought it was going to be, and I just hope I'm looking forward to them like blasting this thing open, having a lot of fun, and then having another big event that closes it back up, and then we're back on track on like a singular pathway.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be like, so they've already established that Earth, the main Marvel universe is Earth 616, which it has always been in the comics, even though like they say that the comics prior to this, the comic universe was Earth 616, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe was labeled as Earth 1999999 in reference to Kevin Feige saying something about how long like he had the Marvel universe planned out, and he said 9,999 years or whatever. So that's what they reference it as. But it's officially now they're using the comic book accurate term Earth 616 to refer to the main Marvel universe. That
because back to what I was saying earlier, that kind of gives you a latch. Yeah. Like okay, yeah.
Those are the people you care about.
Yes. It exactly. Yeah. And that the way they cleared that up in Doctor Strange was nice.
I agree. So back to the ending of WandaVision. Let's go back. Like I haven't watched the ending of WandaVision in a long time. So it ends with her basically realizing that she created this hex out of grief. You've got this soulless body of Vision flying around.
Yeah, where's that guy?
Where the fuck did he go? We'll get back to that later. But you got this body of Vision just kind of like whatever floating around. That's her love that they brought back to life or whatever. I don't know. But she knows that she has kids somewhere in the multiverse. It ends with her having the Darkhold. And her hearing her
Agatha
kid,
away. She blocks Agatha.
She blocks Agatha out. Which, side note, they have announced that they're doing a House of Harkness. So Agatha will be coming back. She was one of the best characters in that series.
She was fantastic.
So it was
so good.
That's how it ends, right? It ends at her in this cottage, and she's she's in the Darkhold, and she hears her kids crying out, and that's kind of the setup to all of Phase 4. I feel like,
at least this first part.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also like, is she just jumping around? Like, what is she, it's hard not to like kind of look between. You kind of have to take these Loki, for example. I don't know what it is about, and it's just happened recently in these series, and I feel like they've gotten to a point to where, obviously they've really streamlined the style and the vibe, and that's something a lot of people have a problem with. I'm like, they're all the same. Well, yeah, that's why we like it, because it's one thing. It's one giant thing. It's supposed to feel similar.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one cohesive unit.
Exactly, and bring in the different. They've been doing a great job of brilliant. Kevin Feige is brilliant, but he's brilliant because he surrounds himself with brilliant people, and he brings these wonderful people in to give a unique vibe to each of these stories, whilst at the same time they still have a similar look. They have that sheen. They have that vibe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Like, it's something that some people complain about, but I think that's why I like all of this.
Me too. I'm with you. I'm on the same page as you, because I feel like having again, it's something that has never been done before, and it's this one big cohesive storyline that has been 10, 12 years now in the making since Iron Man 1 came out, and with no guarantee that you get a contract for 25 movies.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, moving forward, we have Phase 4 that's kind of setting up, I think, two directions, right? So you have Phase 4 kind of setting up this whole multiversal story. That's because we know the background of it, right? So we know that in the background, Marvel Studios acquired Fox, and they acquired, which gave them the Fantastic Four. It gave them X-Men. It gave them rights to a lot of characters that we really want to see come to the forefront. We really want to see in. But they needed an explanation of why they haven't been here all along. Like, why haven't we seen, why didn't the X-Men fight fucking Thanos? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why wasn't they in the Avengers? Why weren't they? So this kind of gives some background to that, to be able to like kind of rewrite history as the multiverse kind of unfolds. But you also get this side story. You get this side story of whatever's going on with the replacement of the Avengers. Right. So that's where we kind of pick up with
right now there's no Avengers. There really isn't.
There really isn't. And Kevin Feige has said there will not be another Avengers movie in the sense of a traditional Avengers movie. Like, I don't think that that's true. I think that we'll get some kind of team up Avengers movie at some point.
We will.
You know what I mean? And it'll be a surprise when it happens. But I think that like they're setting up all these replacements for the original Avengers, which is where we pick up with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier, for everything that it is a unique show where it kind of gives you the background of like, what's it like to be a superhero? Like you're a superhero. How do you pay your bills? Where do you live?
Yeah.
How do you go to the store and buy groceries? Who buys your clothes? Like if you want a pack of smokes, like who's paying for cigarettes?
That's
you know
what
I
I'm
mean?
wondering. Like, what is? That's why I'm kind of like, what is Wanda doing? Like, how does she have this house and these? How does she buy? I guess she might, she can just use magic.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do it or whatever. But
I'm pretty sure that house was abandoned and she just kind of made it. She can rewrite reality.
And even in like back to Loki, like when he goes into the what was the place called with all the other Lokis?
Oh, the Void or whatever it was. Yeah, yeah.
Did they is vintage Loki? What was his name? Classic Loki.
Yeah, yeah.
Does he just wear that every day, all day?
Yeah.
Like where do they take a shit? Like what are they eating?
Yeah.
Like what? That's some of these. I feel like some of these shows, they're really getting to the point where it's like, just don't worry about any of this shit.
Well, that's
like we're just giving
right.
But in my brain, I'm like, where are they all living in this place? Like what are they eating? Like what are they? Did they all really wear this every day? It's like,
that's all they have.
But you're not supposed to think about that.
Yeah,
stuff
you're not.
anymore.
And that was the whole thing Stan Lee talked about back in the 70s and 80s with the comic book code. It was, you don't talk about what they do outside of being in the panel.
Yeah.
You don't worry about I don't know. Have you ever seen Mallrats? I'm sure you've seen Mallrats, where Jason Lee's character finally, when Brody gets to talk to Stan Lee in the mall, and he's like, the name amongst names, and he's asking him all these questions. He's like, does the thing have a big orange rock dork? Just he's like, we don't talk about stuff like that as part of the comic book code. You know what I mean? You don't talk about their sexuality. You don't talk about, do they have sex? Do they shit? Where do they take a piss? Do they go get something to eat? And, sometimes you break those rules in the movies, like the shawarma scene at the end of Avengers, the coffee ground scene in Civil War, where they kind of talk about food and things like that.
He's got like an apartment in that movie.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark has a house and all that.
Exactly. And Tony kind of makes that joke in Age of Ultron. He's like, "Oh no, I'm not. I'm the guy that pays for everything."
Yeah.
And then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're like, does Tony give you a paycheck?
Yeah, they really
lay it on the line. He's like, that's not really how it works. Well, how does it work? I mean, he struggles to have to, he's trying to buy, his family business or whatever. And like, they're like, well, what did you do for the last 5 years? And he was like, I was dust. Like half the people on Earth were dust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
that's getting messy too, man.
Yeah.
Like trying to keep up with that.
Yeah.
And, what do you think of Sam Wilson's Captain America outfit?
It's really comics accurate. I mean,
well, that's for sure, yes. But like his big intro scene in that finale.
Yeah.
What was your reaction?
I liked it.
I really went, like when I saw it, like my very first reaction of it.
Was it?
I was like, that doesn't look very good. something about his head. I don't know what it is. I think he needed like a helmet or something about not having anything on his head.
Yeah.
And the things, and I even saw in the featurettes later on.
Yeah, where they talk about having to CGI it to his face.
But I still thought it looked loose. Like
Did you?
I still was like, that doesn't look very, very good. I've come around on it.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how it will evolve, because it'll they never have the same suit twice.
Yeah, and that's what I'm curious about also is like where they go with number one, where
he's
do they
getting
go?
a movie.
Yeah, he is. And well, my whole thing is like, but he doesn't have any fucking powers.
No.
Like, how does he
Not
fight
at all.
supervillains with no fucking powers?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
He needs to take a shot.
Yeah, he needs to there's always been this rumor in the back of your mind. You've always thought that like Natasha had to have had some kind of the super soldier serum. They fucking made the Red Guardian. They had to have fucking given her something. Maybe it didn't work as well.
Yeah. They have not specified that.
They have not. But
or
John,
Hawkeye.
Well, yeah. I mean, Hawkeye has straight said that he's like
they're just badasses. Like they wanted to give you kind of a perspective, I guess, or like even though they would kill you in a heartbeat. I mean, dude, one of my favorite scenes of any movie is in Endgame in that one shot where Ronan is just slaying people.
Yeah.
And you're like, and that really kind of shows you his like how good he really is.
Yeah.
And how he can kind of stand up, to all this. But, Sam he was in the army, right? And
yeah, but he was a soldier. Like a paratrooper.
Yeah, and where is he getting all of his skill? And he's got the suit now or whatever, and he's really good at using his wings. It's really dope. There was some, dude, the very first episode of Falcon, the intro, that first 15-20 minutes, that was so good.
Yeah, I mean I like the show. A lot of people didn't like the show. They thought it was
it's the bottom for me.
It's not one of the best ones, but I think that
I love John Walker. Even though he looked goofy as hell too. It's like, there were some scenes where he just looked so damn goofy. But I love Wyatt Russell.
Kurt Russell's son.
And Goldie Hawn.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I think Paul pointed that out to me.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Jake.
But
was it you, Paul, that pointed that out?
There's.
I want to take credit for it. Yeah.
Okay. And what the fuck is going on with Seinfeld?
Oh, Val?
Yeah.
So that's an interesting, like from a comic book perspective, she was never like a huge character.
She's doing something. They're setting something up.
Yeah, there. and that's where I'm going with the replacement Avengers. I feel like they're either doing, they're trying to do Thunderbolts or they're trying to do Dark Avengers. I'm leaning more towards Dark Avengers because William Hurt died, so you don't have, and the Thunderbolts were led by, obviously, Thunderbolt Ross, and the Thunderbolts were, kind of anti-heroes, kind of like the Marvel version of Suicide Squad. But it was, I think they're setting up Dark Avengers, where you have U.S. Agent, you have the replacement for the Big Six. You're going to have U.S. Agent, Yelena, She-Hulk,
now, is this
Kate Bishop.
Is this to say that they're bad guys?
No, they weren't bad. They were just like, they weren't.
I don't think Yelena's a bad guy.
No, I don't think so.
She-Hulk's not going to be.
No, I don't think so either. But I think that they're replacing the Avengers, but they're not as wholesome as the Avengers were. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you've got Jane Foster coming in as Thor. You have a replacement for every single Avenger, and those are going to be the new Big Six.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could see Jane Foster being a part of that, but who knows? The thing is
she will 100% be a part of it, because this is from my understanding, from what I'm seeing from the trailers for Thor: Love and Thunder, it seems to be a pretty fairly accurate comic, representation backwards.
What a non-trailer that was. It's a great trailer, but it's such a non-trailer.
Yeah, it doesn't show the villain, doesn't show you any plot.
It doesn't show you shit. Back to what we were talking about. Yeah, William Hurt dying, he would almost certainly have been in the She-Hulk series.
For sure.
But yeah, back to Val and all that. Like they're doing so much now. They've got so many shows and so many movies coming out now that, like you said, there's this big multiverse thing happening, and there's all this ground level shit happening. And it's taking a lot of time in between these to get to come back around to that, while we're going to go over here for a while.
Yeah.
And then like so all these separate kind of like things that are happening. It's taking a while to get back to each of them.
And you're kind of and you're watching these
like-
movies and shows, and you're like, is that going to be important at some point? Like you have to like pay attention and hold on to it. You know what I mean? So what did you think of Black Widow?
I really like Black Widow.
I did too.
You know what? This is.
I thought it was funny.
This is
Yelena was fucking hilarious in that movie.
She was great, but she was better in Hawkeye. Anyway, I loved Black Widow. I loved that whole family. I loved all the cast.
David Harbour was fucking
David
great
Harbour.
in that
David
movie.
Harbour is always great. You know what's a weird observation on that? At the end of every Marvel movie, you know, you get the mid-credit scene, you get the final credit scene.
Yeah.
There's always a big, elaborate, animated end credit scene before you get that mid-credit scene.
Okay, yeah.
Black Widow, it just started scrolling. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't even pay attention.
That movie did not get an end credit like animation like all the movies do. They get these wonderful, unique to the movie, animated end credits before the mid credit scene, and then the scroll comes. Black Widow just ended, and I was like, they did her wrong. That's weird. Like what?
I never. I'm surprised she got a movie at all.
The fighting in Black Widow sucked. Like when Shang-Chi came out after.
Yeah.
That is the best fighting, hands down, by far.
Oh, yeah.
In any Marvel movie.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah, they did a great job on that.
Some of the Russo stuff is good, but they do quick cuts, but they do it really well. Like Shang-Chi kept everything in frame.
Yeah.
And you saw the fighting. Black Widow, you can't tell what they're doing.
Yeah.
The way that they're fighting each other. And
Yeah,
it's like
it's all so fast
and-
that
and-
the frame movements they do that on purpose because
They do,
so you don't have to like really pay attention to exactly what's happening. You're doing so much frame movement that the actors don't really have to be.
But
the ones fighting.
there's a way to do that to where you can still see a cool fight happening.
Yeah.
Because they've been doing that with Black Widow this whole time. Iron Man 2, Civil War, there were some amazing Black Widow fight scenes. There was not they really kind of screwed all that up in Black Widow, I feel like.
See, you watch a lot closer than I do.
Well,
because I'm gonna be honest, like I didn't pick any of that up from the movie. I was just like, oh yeah, this is fucking cool. These action sequences are cool. The storyline's cool.
Dude,
like these things are badass. The way that they like that cover of the Nirvana song in the fucking intro, like all the quick shots.
They beat
as
the Batman to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The same song, wasn't it?
I don't know if it's the same
no,
song.
No, it's not
but-
the same song because it's it smells like Teen Spirit at the beginning of
That was
Black
cool.
Widow. But yeah, I mean that was cool. And you know what's funny is it's sidetrack. I was watching the intro to Black Widow. We were watching the beginning of the movie, and I was like, that little girl looks so familiar.
I thought they were de-aging. I thought that was literally an insane de-aging.
It's Mila Jovovich's daughter.
Yeah.
I was like, that's what
That's
why
crazy.
she looks so familiar.
It's crazy, but
Yeah.
she really looked a lot like Scarlett
Scarlett,
Johansson.
yeah.
I was like, whoa, did they like extreme de-age her? Because they could have done that.
They could have, yeah. I mean, they did it with
Do you think that they help them with the bigness,
what do you mean the
like
bigness?
Thor and Cap, like with their muscles?
I have
Like-
seen
like
pictures.
I know I've seen him too. I follow Hemsworth. I see him. I know that I know it's real.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if they help them a little, because I know for a fact they helped Tom Holland look a little bulkier in some scenes.
In some scenes.
But
when he's in costume.
the fact that they like in First
well,
Avenger,
Downey
in
Jr.
First
also.
Avenger,
I mean, they
like-
fucking make him, a lot taller. He's like 5'5" or some shit. You know what I mean? He's short.
Why is the best? They've been doing so much de-aging, and it's not always as consistent. The best they've done, I feel like, is the beginning of the first Ant-Man, and even the second Ant-Man.
Yeah, with Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas and some of those other guys, and then even in the second Ant-Man, they de-aged them so well in those movies.
Yeah.
And then some of the other, I thought Robert Downey looked weird in Civil War, but again, that's supposed to be like not real anyway.
There was somebody that did like a side by side of like how much like that was supposed to have decreased his age, and then did the side-by-side comparison of Robert Downey Jr. at that age. The lighting is weird because I think of like how they had that scene structured, but the de-aging is pretty fucking spot on.
It is. No, it's great. And again, I don't even, that stuff doesn't, I take it. Like, I'm like, and they're doing such incredible things.
Yeah.
What do you want?
They're inventing technology for this. I mean, it's just making movies better. Okay, we're sidetracking.
Yeah,
so,
let's go.
All right, so we talked about Black Widow. What about Shang-Chi? Shang-Chi, like, was this? I feel like Shang-Chi was like this sleeper movie. He's always been kind of a side character, been with the Avengers, but not with the Avengers, necessarily. But he came out of nowhere and like. I forget that guy's name, Simu Liu.
Simu Liu.
Yeah. I mean, I think he fucking killed it. And like, what a unique storyline, and not tying directly into the Marvel universe, but tying in to like a back mention, kind of in Iron Man 1, they talk about the 10 rings and they don't really elaborate on exactly what it is. And then now and then that post-credit scene where you get like, you're like, oh, what are these? Nobody knows what it is. Oh, and Bruce is not the Hulk anymore. He's just Bruce again. What the fuck is that coming from?
I'm wearing a Shang-Chi shirt.
Is that what that is? I wondered.
That movie blew me away. It's like...
It's a good movie. Standalone by itself outside the Marvel universe, it's a good movie.
I think it's great, even with... I cannot wait to see him get involved in the mix. We went to the theater, and that was the first. We hadn't seen a Marvel feature film in a theater in a long time with Shang-Chi.
Was Eternals after that?
Eternals was after that. Black Widow was straight to Disney Plus. We had been getting the shows,
which they
right?
did her wrong on that also.
They did, but I'm glad they finally. I wish they would have just done it earlier. Like, we were waiting and waiting for that movie, and it sucks that they had to do it that way. But they either should have just stuck it in the damp, just released it, or just put it on Disney Plus earlier than they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, we hadn't seen a Marvel movie other than Black Widow on Disney Plus in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you forgot how hard they could swing.
Yeah.
Like when they're doing a fucking movie. Like, the shows are great.
Yeah.
But they're half the budget. They're more, until the finales, they're usually a lot more low key. And I remember that big epic finale of Shang-Chi, walking out of the theater like, whoa, that I forgot how they're wow.
So that brings up an interesting point. Do you prefer the movies or do you prefer the shows? I think that the shows give you more story. Because you have more time to tell more story. And that's why they're doing like the stuff that doesn't require the big budgets, Hawkeye and stuff like that, where it's you don't have to have like huge budgets to tell that kind of a good, like down to earth story. But then like you're saying, like Shang-Chi couldn't have been a fucking TV show. Like, it had to be a fucking movie.
I mean, they could have, but they could have like if they wanted to, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah,
and I'm still a movie guy. I love the shows. I'm glad that it's a thing. I love the new form of storytelling and fleshing these guys out and girls. I still prefer the movies.
I love the experience of going to a movie. So I mean, I agree.
Definitely. And Shang-Chi was phenomenal. I think I like it more than a lot of other people. I think it's top 10 MCU.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Out of 20, top 10 out of 20. I mean, that's really only 50% still. That's still like just a little less than 50%.
Tell you exactly where it is.
So that's a top 10 out of 25 movies. Is that right?
Well, I put the shows in the list. So I mean, Feige himself says the shows are just 6-hour movies.
And that's totally different. That's totally different than the way that the Netflix shows were. You know what I mean? They weren't even considered canon. They didn't know where to
Everything's
stick them.
canon now.
Yeah, exactly. That's with the multiverse. That's the beauty of it.
Shang-Chi is literally number 10 on my list.
You have a list on your phone, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like it a lot more than than most. I love it. I love Simu
I
Liu.
like- yeah.
I did not like Awkwafina until that movie.
I didn't even know who she. I thought she.
I didn't even really either.
Yeah. I mean, I had heard her and seen her and stuff, like, not in movies, but I had seen her in, like, I don't know, different shit. And I was just like, who the fuck is
I'm that
Yeah.
old guy that's like, why is everybody talking about this Awkwafina person? And then she was fucking hilarious. And
Yeah, she was fucking
And
great.
they brought back Trevor Slattery.
Yes, I really fucking love Trevor Slattery. Like, with Ben Kingsley.
Yes.
Fucking,
He just stepped right back in it.
yeah. I mean, it's...
And that's another thing that people didn't like a lot with Iron Man 3, which I loved. That was a big controversial twist in that movie.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I fucking love that section of the movie where he comes out and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, you're like,
Love
who
it.
the fuck is
So
this guy?
having him come back, especially in something involved with the 10 rings and the Mandarin himself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And I just love how all these shit that you thought would never pay off is. And
Yeah.
now we're, Abomination's coming back. And in Shang-Chi, I don't know if you noticed, but this is all online now, but in She-Hulk, you see Tim Roth, Abomination.
I saw that. Yeah, where that cage that it's
right there in Shang-Chi.
Yeah, they had that.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, all that just shows you, they had the shit planned out all along.
And that's what makes me think is like, it's really hard to tell what the fucking plan is right now.
Yeah, what's the end game?
It's
Because end
hard
game has
to
already
tell.
happened.
Like, where are we going?
Yeah. So the next big, huge movie that really got a lot of hate, didn't get a lot of love, and I'm curious to see where you stand on this, because it introduced 9 brand new superheroes. Not all of them survived, but it really introduced the huge cosmic portion of the Marvel universe, but it also introduced the supernatural part of the Marvel universe, talking about Eternals. Now, Eternals was a very, very, very like backdoor, comic series. It wasn't very popular, but it kind of tied to a lot of different things. And they've hinted at, a lot of the themes from Eternals with the Celestials, and Guardians of the Galaxy. Nowhere is the severed head of a Celestial, which in the comics, that head of the Celestial was severed by the Necro Sword, which is wielded by the god Null, who is the one who created the symbiotes on the planet Clintar.
I thought it was Gore.
No, that's the same sword.
Same sword.
Null, Gore kills the Celestial, but
Yeah.
that sword is wielded and made by Null, who is the king of the. He's kind of like, they kind of like spun the Dark Elves and Null kind of like have the same kind of vibe going on. But anyway, he invents the symbiotes Venom, and like that's Venom's whole backstory. Is like he ties to Null and the Necro
And what
Sword
are they doing with all that shit?
Yeah, that's
I don't even want to talk about that Sony bullshit. But
if we have time, we'll get into it. But so Eternals introduces us to 9 new superheroes. How many of them survived to the end? 4?
No, more than that. Like 6 or 7.
No, I don't think so. Let's count them out.
Gilgamesh dies.
Let's count who survives. Kingo survives.
I think we should say who dies.
Okay. Gilgamesh dies.
Icarus dies.
Ajax dies.
That's it.
Athena dies.
No, she doesn't.
Doesn't she?
No, it's just those 3. There's 6 of them left. And there's 10 of them, by the way.
I thought it was 9.
No, there's 10 of them.
Well, Sprite's
That's the thing.
Sprite is technically not a.
She's not a. She's gonna grow up and die, and that was a cool thing. Even though she was an annoying little turd in that movie.
Yeah, she
but
was.
What I liked about Eternals.
Reminded me a lot of my daughter.
What I like about Eternals is, the direction, the cinematography, the scope.
Yeah, that was great.
I loved getting an MCU movie that looked like a Denis Villeneuve movie or a Ridley Scott movie or a Chris Nolan movie. Like having one of those types of like big epics in the MCU was exciting and awesome to look at. And again with Shang-Chi, I I think I like Eternals a lot more than a lot of people, even MCU fans. And things that I disliked about Eternals, the fact that Kingo walked away at the end was weird. But again, I know they needed to get some people out of the way, so wasn't so the big wasn't so cluttered at the end. They needed to do that, but him walking away and then after everything, he's back and he's like, hey guys, like he got.
They've been friends for like 5,000 years.
No, that's true.
Man.
He put out that photo of him. He did the thing where he got the MC role and he shredded up, and it blew up, and it was this huge thing.
Yeah.
There was no point for it.
Yeah.
In that movie.
None.
Other than he showed his arms off here and there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he did that for nothing. Other than his own well-being, which is great. But for the movie-wise, it was pointless.
Yeah. So who else did that? I think it was Jeremy Renner. Like when he got the role of Hawkeye, he took a hardcore archery lessons to learn how to fucking shoot, and then they were like,
CG.
They're like, yeah, that's not how we do it in movies. It's all CGI. Yeah. And he's like,
you still need to look like you know what you're doing.
And that's what he's like, well, I'm a really good archer now. So, I mean, spent a bunch of money doing that and shit.
Yeah, but I feel like Renner's always been kind of pretty good shape. Like he didn't, like he wasn't.
I don't feel like he had to get an extra shape, but
I fucking love Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye. I don't watch a ton of what he does outside of this.
No, but he's great as Hawkeye.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he's like, for so long you didn't think about him much, but I don't know. It's like he finally came with the series and everything. It's just like, no, he's a part of all that. He's a big part.
He's a much bigger part than people think that he is. So,
anyway, the Eternal coming out of the fucking earth, the hand coming out of there. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah.
But it's like that's there now.
Yeah.
When are we gonna address that in another movie?
I think that they're going to address that in Wakanda Forever, which we'll talk. Hopefully, we have time to get to. But I think that right there is going to be the catalyst for Atlantis and Namor coming forth, and that's going to be
cool.
You know what I mean? That's going to be because Black Panther and Namor have always had this kind of thing. You know what I mean? I think that Wakanda Forever is going to. Namor is going to be the quote unquote villain.
They've been planting that seed for a while.
Yeah.
But that would have disrupted more, I feel like, across
a lot more.
the globe.
Oh, yeah. Like, it would have
Those things are massive. That's taller than any mountain on Earth.
Oh, yeah,
like,
for
anything.
sure.
Like, that would mess up the atmosphere. I feel like that would, like...
It wouldn't. I don't know that it would mess up the atmosphere, but it definitely would mess up weather patterns.
But that would have created tidal waves, I feel like. I don't...
Oh, yeah.
But it did. All it did was just come out and then stay, and it looked amazing. But give me another movie that
addresses
that says, "Hey, there's fingers sticking out of the fucking earth
and half a head
Yeah, I can't wait to go back to that and see that again because it's there now.
Yeah,
it's
I want to see.
It's part of Earth 616 now.
Yeah, exactly. So
and I liked Eternals. I did, and I think it gets better on rewatches.
Yeah, I've watched it a couple of times since it came out, and I agree.
Gilgamesh is amazing. Thena was amazing.
Oh yeah, Angelina Jolie could have done. Great. She could have not taken that role and tried to steal the show in every scene that she did, but she played that role to exactly what it needed to be.
You also
and did a fucking fantastic job at it.
You also saw her skill next to people not so skilled.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like also real quick, number one, the best Eternal, my favorite, Druig.
Oh yeah. Barry Cohen.
Cohen or Kogan or whatever.
Yeah.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
And he was the only one, I feel like me and my wife discussed this. He was actually trying to sound like he wasn't from Earth. Like no specific accent. Like he was almost creating his own accent. He really wanted to do good for the people. Like he seemed kind of nefarious at first.
Yeah.
But he really did care about the greater good of humans, I feel like, even though he was kind of controlling them.
I feel like the accent thing you're reading too much into. I feel like he's got a really strong Irish accent, and I feel like he just did a really bad job of covering it up.
I don't know, man. It worked for me. It worked for me.
That's fine.
And I love him as an actor outside of
I
this
haven't seen
series.
him in much of anything except the deleted scene from the Batman, which we're not going to get into.
No. But I liked the Eternal.
Okay.
and
So
it gets better.
We got a lot of ground still to cover and not
go.
a lot of
Let's
time to
go.
do it. All right. So next series, What If?
We're gonna do this really quickly.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's it?
It's the
Where's
it's
it
the-
at on your list?
It's the bottom.
It's the bottom?
It's literally the bottom.
Really?
Yeah, it's the bottom. Under every movie, every show.
No? Didn't do it for you?
Not too huge on animation in general.
Me neither.
I thought it was pretty cool animation.
I thought that my favorite episode
But-
was the one where Hank Pym kills all the Avengers. That was cool.
That was really cool.
I didn't see that coming.
That was really cool, and obviously the Strange episode was
The Strange
phenomenal.
episode was really good too.
But otherwise, it was a filler. It was a
way to
give
introduce
them
a couple
something
of
to suck on
characters.
while we're working
Yeah.
on this other shit. It was fine, but it was a waste of time.
Okay.
And I don't give a shit about a season 2, even though it's coming. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
It was a great comic.
I'm gonna
run.
take it.
It was a way for them to expand on the multiverse and give
Yeah.
you droplets like Captain Carter and
Yeah.
things like that.
And I do think we're gonna see the what's his name, the big guy in the sky.
Galactus,
The
Watcher.
Yes, the Watcher.
we'll see the
I
Watcher
can't
more.
wait to see a live action version of him because I know it's going to happen.
Well, Jeffrey Wright.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he did a great job
Right?
as a voice of him. Yeah.
He's
Jeffrey
great.
Wright,
He's
yeah.
always good.
Yeah, always good and everything. All right, moving on. Next one is the big movie that really hit it really hard. I think it's kind of setting the tone for all of Phase 4. I mean, obviously, like Loki kind of set up the storyline for it.
Well, Loki broke the
multiverse, right? So, in that sense, then you get Spider-Man: No Way Home, and Spider-Man: No Way Home there's so many moving fucking pieces in that movie, and it's so hard to like, there's so many things that, like, there's a lot of fan service stuff that happens in that movie. There's a lot of we need to tie into the Sony Spider-Verse, which I heard that because Venom 2 didn't do great, and because of something else, like that Marvel now is getting the rights back to Spider-Man. Like they have to, like
Sony will never give any of that up.
That's not true. So they can't fight that. They have to make so much money.
Okay, I guess
and then or else it reverts back to Marvel Studios.
Well, they don't have a problem with Spider-Man. I'll tell you that.
Well, here's the thing: they did not make enough money with No Way Home.
I don't know about that
because they only get half the cut.
Well.
So they
didn't. So they're counting by what they get or what it makes in general.
No. It's by what they. I forget what it is. We'll have to go look up the article.
One thing I didn't know is that Sony has to make a Spider-Man movie every 3 years.
Yeah.
But
that's part of it, and that was one of the that was part of the stipulation.
My controversial take on No Way Home. That movie.
Before you tell me anything, I want to know where it ranks on your list. It's not top 10, obviously, or you would have said it.
No Way Home is I still liked it a lot, dude. It's 11.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, this list changes often with rewatches, but the more and more I think about No Way Home, look, that movie is its last hour.
For sure.
That's No Way Home. I'm going to tell you right now, sitting in the theater about 40 minutes in, I was like kind of like, what are we doing? This is weird. Like, there's weird story beats. There's weird motivations. That is the most, you know that phrase, so the movie can happen?
Yeah.
That movie is one after the other, so the movie can happen.
Yeah, so the movie can happen.
Like, come on, man. Like, going to him, like, they had to set up that bridge fight. You're going to go knock on this lady's car window? Like, what is this? Like,
yeah.
And then the lamest intro for a Willem Dafoe comeback, even though he ended up owning that movie.
Oh yeah, totally owning that movie.
But they should have given him a baller ass reveal, like even though we knew he was coming.
And I think that's why they didn't, because we knew that he was coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, so here's a couple of things, my problems with Spider-Man No Way Home. One, they had the opportunity to introduce the Sinister Six and they didn't do it. All they had to do was throw one more fucking villain in there and they would have had the Sinister Six. Two,
Morbius.
We're not going to talk about that. I still haven't even seen it.
I'm going to watch it this weekend.
Okay, good. So we're on the same page. You haven't seen it either.
No,
okay,
no.
good. Okay,
I have seen both Venoms. Oh, shit.
What was that?
I don't know, but you got a lot of expensive stuff in here to
Oh,
knock knock down.
those aren't expensive.
All right.
So So anyway, like, and that reminds me, I've been meaning to do like an around the room kind of pano thing because people have asked me to like see. The
I mean,
room
it's
in it.
mostly Pez.
It is a lot of Pez. I mean, you can obviously you can see behind me. There's a lot of Pez, but there's a lot of other cool shit in here. Let me see if I can get the room cam up. One of the coolest things I got for my birthday. I got the Eternals Pez.
Eternals Pez.
Hold on, let me show it again. Show it again in the camera so you can see it. Yeah, I got the Eternal. So the other two I ordered and they have not showed up yet.
Okay.
So I don't even know who. I think I got those for Christmas from my wife. I don't even know who the other two.
Right
are.
on.
But you can see in the room like I've got this cool like Lego Mjolnir over here on the table that I got for my birthday. And then I mean you can't really see the shelf over across here, but
There's cool stuff on it.
Yeah, I've got the Spider-Man Doctor Strange Lego hanging from the X-wing. Come on, how cool is that?
Yeah.
The X-wing, obviously, zombie Captain America over there.
Yeah.
Lego.
Oh yeah.
The Darth Vader helmet. I mean, I'm a big Darth Vader fan.
Yeah, the X-wing.
The X-wing. The Millennium Falcon's over there behind.
All
Kyle.
very cool. All very cool.
So anyway, lots of cool stuff in here.
The No Way Home. One thing that was so incredible in that movie, where there were two fights between Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe, and they were both fucking incredible.
I don't like the fact that they killed Aunt May off because I really liked Marissa Tomei. But just in general, but like it did progress.
He needed to have his Uncle Ben moment.
Yeah.
And
I'm so glad they got the three Spider-Man meme
that
in there.
Was
apparently it was on accident also.
Who knows? But I will say, fan service or no fan service, once those two showed up, it was just joyous. It was just pure
totally
serotonin.
Yeah.
Like just
huge erection
and that's why I say that's what that movie is. When you talk about No Way Home, that's that movie.
Yeah.
Starting from when Ned opened that portal up, and what's that gonna turn into, by the way, and what's up with his aunt? Because she's got something going on. They focused on some shit on the wall and like this and that. And
Ned leads technically in the comics. He becomes Hobgoblin.
I know, but they didn't do that.
But he might.
But
still.
he also Ned. I wasn't a huge fan of, but I loved him in this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. We don't need to focus.
No,
on
we
that.
don't need to focus on Ned. Although when he flies down on the cape, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, that was
I
great.
loved it. Andrew Garfield stole the whole movie.
Oh yeah. He totally owned and totally redeemed both of those other Spider-Man movies.
That movie was a Spider-Man 3, it was an Amazing Spider-Man 3, and it was a Spider-Man 4 all in one.
Yeah.
And I wish that Toby would have really died.
Really?
That would have made it better to me. The fact that he was like, I'm fine. I was like, that was big. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I liked when he saves Zendaya MJ, and that. I mean, everybody. I was crying. Like everybody was going nuts.
That was the moment. That was the moment.
I mean, I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but like when you talk about like acting without facial expressions, like you can see, like Andrew Garfield does everything big. I mean, everything's acted out. Like he really does really well with his hands only. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up about acting with facial expressions, because one thing that I really admire about the movie is before they went into the big CGI splooge fest, wonderfulness ending, masks on, everything. They took 5 minutes to give these three a moment to shine with the masks off, and it was an act off between the Spider-Mans. And Tobey Maguire lost.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield were going at it hard.
Oh yeah.
But
Andrew won. Are you talking about when they pull their masks off and
No. I'm talking about on the school building. When he first meets the other two, when they both come down, they're all three fucking crying.
I was thinking about, you were talking about, because this is another great scene in that movie, is at the end, in the end scene when they're on the Statue of Liberty fighting, they're like, we need to get they all pull their masks up, and they're like,
too. Yes.
Who's Peter 1, Peter 2?
Yeah.
You know, and they're back and forth. I'm not really good at working as a team. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they have
phenomenal.
to like figure that. That was a great fucking scene. Also,
and then right after that, when they all go and run and jump off, and then and then Tom swings them both through. I mean, come on.
Yeah, fucking great.
Like, yes, that was wonderful. And then moving forward, No, but I was talking about right before that when they had that moment
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
I
school.
gotcha.
That
Yeah.
was amazing.
When they
to
go
me.
find
that
Tom
was
Holland
amazing
and
to
then-
me
yeah.
because that made it they earned that ending.
Yeah.
That the fun stuff after that. The fight between Tom Holland and Willem Dafoe on the Shield was amazing.
The symbolism
Some of
in
those
that
moves,
fight,
and stuff. And also, I'm kind of bummed because I was really hoping we were going to have a Statue of Liberty with the Captain America shield on it going forward in 616.
You still might.
We still might, but and also no one they mentioned that once in Hawkeye. What's going on with the Statue of Liberty? What's going on with Avengers Tower? We haven't seen it.
You mean the Baxter Building?
We don't know that. Ooh, that's probably going to be it. But anyway,
Just saying, the Baxter Building. That's, I'm calling it right now.
the racing Tom Holland from everyone was very messy. I struggled to really go. Well, what did Zendaya and Homeboy think about when? Why are we on the Shield now? You're
talking about the logistics of like how that would work.
Back to what we were talking about, like where they take a shit.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
you're not supposed to think about it, but. The great part about that was what you don't realize it until the very end, but all three of those movies were one giant origin story.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious what he's going to be doing going forward.
Yeah,
That's
I
going
am
to be
too.
interesting.
So, all right, Spider-Man No Way Home. We've talked about different whatever. All right, next one up was Hawkeye. Hawkeye did a lot. I think it progressed the MCU forward and really did that whole multiverse thing a lot of justice by bringing back in Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, who did a great job as Kingpin in the Netflix Daredevil show.
Still unclear though how all that's working.
I think they're gonna. I hope they're gonna clear that up.
Damn well better,
because they have announced that Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are coming back as Daredevil and Kingpin as a continuation but reboot of the Netflix show.
I want Kevin Feige to get in front of a camera and tell me what is up with
that's not going to happen. They're just going to. Okay. So the one thing that I want to like, Hawkeye was great. It introduced Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop Hawkeye, which was
amazing.
Fucking great.
Hawkeye was amazing.
Fucking love that show. I don't care who hated it. That show was fucking great.
All of these shows are really great with their opening scenes.
Oh yeah.
And the Hawkeye might be the best. Seeing her perspective from him falling from that building gave me goosebumps.
Oh, it was great.
That show was phenomenal. And
talk about an origin story.
Fact,
what?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and the fact that it was the genius, it being a Christmas.
Yes,
that
yes.
really, really amplified it.
Because it gave a reason for like
you had an MCU
the
Christmas.
timeliness. Yeah, you know what I mean.
You had something from the MCU during Christmas.
Exactly.
That was great.
So here's something. Here's something that and I wish I could take credit for this, but I cannot. So during the Rogers the musical part, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So cheesy and campy. And he's like, you know who was there? That guy, fucking Ant-Man. Who the fuck is that? He wasn't there.
Yeah.
So somebody online was like, yeah, somebody saw Ant-Man on the street during the time heist of Endgame and put him at the events of. That's why he was there. And you're like, oh,
that's
so funny.
That is hilarious. And that brings me to something else that I think about. And this is another you're not supposed to think about it thing. And we'll talk about this quickly. And it started in WandaVision whenever Kat Dennings was talking to what's his face, everyone's favorite agent from. Damn it, I can't remember his name.
Agent Lee or whatever his name is, the Asian guy.
Yeah. This keeps happening. People keep talking about what happened at the Battle of Endgame.
Yeah.
How does everybody know?
It's on the news. They've interviewed.
There weren't cameras there.
You don't know that? People had cell phones and shit.
No, people weren't there. It was just the battle. It was just the people in the battle.
You don't know who were in those buildings filming and shit?
No. Endgame.
Oh, Endgame.
How do people know the details of the fights that were happening in Endgame?
Dude, you don't think that like all of the heroes that were there, everybody gave interviews and fucking told stories about what happened?
No, because nobody told me that they did that. No, I haven't seen anybody do that. But like they bring up specific shit. And of course now I can't think of anything, but people keep bringing up specifics from that battle that weren't there, And I'm like, how did anybody
yeah,
know?
but I mean, because
what was
they
going
know.
on there?
And they know because like that whole story has been documented. You know, there was because somebody had to be accountable for that. So they had to say like, what happened? How did all these people come back? So all of the Avengers probably had to sit down and say like, all right, this is what happened. Doctor Strange probably sat down and was like, all right, look, I saw the future and like this is exactly what fucking happened.
But also everyone was doing. I don't want to get too far into this, but it's just something that I think about because because it keeps happening. People keep bringing up specifics of that battle that weren't there, and I'm wondering, how does everybody know the specifics of that battle? How did people know that Cap caught that hammer? How do people know that Thanos said this or did this? You know, that weren't there. But anyway, we can move on.
Marvel Universe.
We can move on.
All right.
You know, yeah, you're right.
All right. So, yeah, because we've got a lot. I mean, we're
Let's go.
All right, we've got a lot of ground to cover. We're already into an hour, so I know you're on a little bit of a time limit.
We're good. Let's go.
All right, so after Hawkeye, our next show that we didn't get another show after Hawkeye, or maybe we already covered it.
Moon Knight.
No, well, do you put Moon Knight before or after Doctor Strange too? Because they kind of Moon Knight ended the same day that Doctor Strange ended.
Moon Knight is you know what, we're gonna find out when it's on Disney Plus because they have the timeline order on Disney Plus.
Oh, do they?
So that's what I refer to.
Oh,
and
okay.
right now, if you go to Disney Plus and go to the Marvel section and you scroll down to timeline order, right now Moon Knight is the end.
Does it show chronological order or because they did have at one point where it was release order and then chronological by like where in the MCU timeline
they
have released.
They have all of it. They have each phase in order.
Yeah.
Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4.
Okay.
And then they have chronological timeline order with the one shots in there too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go.
And that's
without the Spider-Man movies.
Without the Spider-Man movies, yeah. It's fucking stupid.
Okay, but I
figure that shit out, y'all.
I'm pretty sure that Marvel's getting Spider-Man the rights back.
Figure that shit out.
Anyway, so let's if Moon Knight's the latest because Doctor Strange is not on there yet, then we'll talk about Moon Knight. If you haven't watched Moon Knight yet, do yourself a fucking favor and watch one of the greatest actors of our generation.
Oh man,
fucking play 3 characters completely distinct from each other in one scene talking to each other, and you lose the fact that they're not really actually standing next to each other talking to each other.
Even
Holy
before that.
shit.
Even
when you
before
think
that.
about it like that, you're just like, this is the same guy acting against nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and a lot of people have done that before him, but none have done it quite this good.
nobody has done a convincing English accent like Oscar Isaac has.
I already loved Oscar Isaac.
Me too.
Already knew he was good.
Technically in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Apocalypse, also by the way.
Because everything's canon now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Chris Evans was Human Torch, so that's canon.
Yeah.
What's his name? Michael B. Jordan was Human Torch actually also. So yeah, I mean, lots of stuff has some weird twists and turns. Same way that Evan Peters could be Quicksilver and and not Quicksilver, but Quicksilver also.
Boner.
Yeah.
Moon Knight was amazing. Moon Knight was the one that when it was announced, I was like, that's the one that I'm looking forward to most. I don't know anything about that, but I love what they're telling me about it. The setting, the vibe, the character, everything. Oscar Isaac, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Are you familiar with those two people?
Those must have been producers because I don't.
They're
get
producers
into that.
And they directed half of this series. Along with this is terrible of me. I don't know the other guy, the actual Egyptian guy that did the others, and they all served as executive producers and they shared the directing efforts.
Okay.
Benson and Moorhead, as they go, but they are a directing team,
kind of like Joe and Anthony Russo.
Correct, but I was already a huge fan of those two because they have made some phenomenal indie sci-fi movies that are incredible, and we could talk about that later, but. So already a fan of those guys. And when I learned that they were on this, that even got me more excited. So my excitement for Moon Knight was more than most of the recent stuff.
Okay.
And I think it delivered 100%.
I agree.
And also I love Ethan Hawke.
Oh, yeah, and you know what's funny is Arthur Harrow is like some weird like background character. I don't even remember him from the comics, and I read Moon Knight comics, and I don't remember him from the Moon Knight comics even at all. So
I don't think. Well, from what I've seen, is he was a throwaway character,
and I think that was the point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they had to pick somebody that didn't tie to anything else, so that they could just bring somebody in to be the quote unquote bad guy.
Yeah.
And Moon Knight is like one of these guys that like doesn't play well with others. He's never really been on any teams. He's like, if they throw him in the Avengers, I'll be pissed because he's fucking crazy. At the last episode of the show really highlights as he bounces back and forth between Stephen Grant and and Mark Spector.
Hey,
in the middle of a fight, he's going from Moon Knight to
So
Mr.
good.
Knight, and then
that was so good.
the final scene, the final cut scene or whatever post-credit scene brings in Jake Lockley, which I hope they do a season 2 and you get to see more of that.
Then you realize you start to realize, oh, we've seen him once or twice, but you didn't really catch it. Yeah. But like I didn't like the first episode where he's in the fake doctor's office with him. I didn't catch Jake Lockley until I watched that episode again, and I was like, "Oh, that's a fucking completely different person."
Yeah, he's in the. He's also in the bathroom in the bathroom scene in like the first or second episode. I forget what it is. Yeah, so as he's walking through the bathroom, like Mark's walking through the bathroom, and he looks to one side. And to one side it's Jake, and to the other side it's Steven.
So that was a lot of that. I know a lot of it, like the stuff was in his head, and then they went into the astral plane, or is that what you call it? The ethereal plane?
Ethereal plane.
Ethereal plane.
Yeah, kind of.
I loved how they mentioned that, and they mentioned Black Panther.
Yeah. So that you're like, it kind of depends on what God you worship is kind of how your afterlife is going to be.
All that other stuff was actually physically happening. Like that wasn't all in his head, right? Yeah, a lot of the show was real.
Yeah, until he got shot.
Yeah, until they got shot.
Yeah,
that's
everything else out of that was in the ethereal plane.
He was really in that car chase.
Yeah,
he was really in like right?
Yeah.
But here, another question.
And all this, anything between the time he got shot and the time he comes back from, when they break the statue, like all of that was in the ethereal plane, the quote unquote afterlife. That was him experiencing, him trying to come to, because he was in the Egyptian afterlife. It was him kind of forcing himself to deal with, balancing his soul and kind of, forcing himself to deal with a lot of stuff that he hadn't dealt with. You see Jake Lockley kind of locked in that sarcophagus. They kind of pass that room by, and they're like, oh, we don't need to go in there. You can tell that Mark knows that there's a third personality, but doesn't want to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of like, how all those things are going, how Steven thinks that he's the soul personality or the original. And then, at the end he realizes that
figuring out you're the clone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So fucked
like
up.
what was that the Sixth Day or whatever with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
Where he figures out
and
that
then
he's the clone.
You had multiplicity.
Yeah.
And then there's a recent series on Apple Plus called Severance with Adam Scott. Also deals with that.
Okay.
Incredible. Anyway,
Invincible as well.
Yep.
What'd you say?
Invincible on Amazon.
Oh, the animated one? I have not seen that. I've heard only great things about it.
No, it's fine.
It's just go on.
Yeah,
Invincible?
I've heard phenomenal things about that. It's a comic book animated series on Amazon Prime.
Oh, you talked about it before.
It is a phenomenal series.
Could everybody see the big kaiju fight, or were they just invisible to Cairo, to all the people of the city? What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think anyone could see them.
Honestly, if they could see him, like, do you think that would have fucking like mattered to him? If all the shit that's happened in this there's a giant hand and half a head sticking out of the ocean.
Why
in
does
Indonesia.
anybody live in New York anymore? If there's anything that's fucking fake about the MCU, it's the fact that people still live in New York City. What the fuck?
I mean, but look at what's happened in New York City in the real world. You know what I mean? World Trade Center bombings, the fucking World Trade Center getting hit,
of course,
all the bullshit that happens in New York City. It's a prime target for
every
anything.
other day. every other day.
Not
there's
every
like
other
some fucking
day.
shit going down.
What happens?
The Earth, there's too many. I wish they would do something where they like kind of showed how like life has day-to-day life has changed, especially in large metropolis areas where a lot of this shit happens all the time.
Yeah, but it's really only happened in
they're doing.
It's really only happened in San Francisco and New York.
And yeah, and you're right. That's why I specifically said New York.
Yeah.
But you do notice that in a lot of these big finales, they're secluding them in these places.
Well, Endgame didn't happen in New York City. It did not happen
it was
in
upstate.
It was way in upstate New York.
That's why I said, how does everybody fucking know what happened in the battle? That's my whole point. But anyway, we don't have to focus on that.
You don't think that the
But
heroes
I
would
sure
want
as fuck wouldn't live in
everybody to
Manhattan.
fucking know exactly how they beat Thanos? Because they're going to want to know, like, because in the 5-year, everybody knew about Thanos, and then all these people came back. Everybody had to ask the Avengers, like, what the fuck happened? And they're like, and you know Scott Lang would go on fucking TV and be like, oh, well, we had this time heist. You know what I mean? And he probably laid it all out for him.
I'm cool with it. I know. It's just something I think about.
Yeah.
Because I say that because there's been so many times in this phase 4, there's been all these specific moments where somebody brings up something in that battle. But again, we're reiterating.
Yeah, we're going back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, where does Moon Knight rank on your list?
So as far as the shows go, WandaVision's still my favorite. I think I'm putting Moon Knight next.
See, I would do Loki, WandaVision, and then Moon Knight.
I loved Loki, but I do not put it up like everyone else does.
I don't know, man.
Like,
the chick Loki was really good. I really liked that.
No, it was a phenomenal. Look, man, it's hard. Look, I put them in order from top to bottom, but in reality, it's mostly a straight line across the board. But you know what I mean?
It's like the periodic table, right? Where you have to all the the radioactive elements have their own little branch timeline at the bottom.
There's some that are just legitimate. Like after rewatch after rewatch, yeah, this is definitely not as good as a lot of these others.
Yeah,
but,
Dark World and things like that.
The ones that everyone kind of is on board with.
Yeah.
But again, Dark World isn't as low for me as it used to be. And the first Thor as always moves up. I don't know why, but every time I watch the movie, I'm like, I fucking love the first Thor.
And the bleached eyebrows kill it every single fucking time.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
They fixed it.
Did they? I mean, yeah, later. All right, so moving on past Moon Knight, we're going to hit the last movie we've got, and then we can talk just briefly about future past this. So Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, that when Kevin Feige announced this right after Endgame was announced, or in between Infinity War and Endgame is when they announced Phase 4. So when they announced Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, I think every fan kind of had the idea of like, this is where Marvel's going, right? We're going to multiverse. How are we getting there? What's going to happen? Obviously, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness is going to be something. They had a lot of the characteristics of the logo. Everybody was pointing to this was going to be, something with the Scarlet Witch, and then they were like, oh, okay, they're going to introduce America Chavez, which is pretty cool. I mean, she's a pretty B-list. Actually, she's like a D-list character, but I mean, all in all, she was, quintessential to moving the plot of that movie forward. And honestly, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Xochitl Gomez or whatever her name is.
Xochi.
Listen
to this. Listen to this.
Of course, this motherfucker looked it up.
What's her name in the movie?
America Chavez.
America.
Yeah. And
she's from a different fucking realm, a different dimension. What? Wow. Where did they get the word America?
No.
Her real name is Xochi.
Okay, so that
would have been a better name.
Okay, it's funny
to me.
The reason that she's named America Chavez, because in her realm, when America Vespucci discovered America, it morphed in. America became a utopian society. That was the beginning of it, a utopian society. Yeah. So she was named America after that.
I am not comics literate. You know this. So,
yes, I know. So I'm explaining away. Yeah. That's my goal, is to explain away your disbelief in certain things. You know what I mean? That's you're like, why the fuck is this? Well, I'm telling you why the fuck this is.
I'll tell you what though. She was great. Absolutely. I wasn't thinking too much of her before the movie.
Say her name again?
Xochi.
Okay.
And but she really was great. And they didn't she played it real, like, you know what? I don't know how to explain it, but it was like
she did a fucking
like
great job.
She was good. And it wasn't like too much or too kiddish or too like it was good.
Yeah.
And a couple things that stand out to me. We still don't know what our Mordo is up to.
That's true. We don't.
We got the one Wong the whole time, which I liked. We didn't get a bunch of Wongs. We got our Wong the whole movie.
Yeah.
Sam Raimi. Because I really love the first Doctor Strange movie. Again, I probably put it higher than a lot of people.
I love that movie too.
And I love Scott Derrickson as a director. I think he does cool horror stuff. And I also like consistency in these films. When someone does a 1 and a 2 and then they change it for a 3, that bugs me. Like when they said Shane Black was going to be Iron Man 3, that bugged me. But I ended up loving Iron Man 3. But anyway, I was, whenever, they say, oh, well, a different director is going to do the second movie, I'm kind of like, okay. But then they said it was Sam Raimi, and then all that went out the window.
Yeah, I was kind of, honestly, I was kind of skeptical and hesitant about Sam Raimi doing Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, just because.
Well, that's like a full circle type situation.
Exactly, and I don't know that I was super cool with it at first, but like now that I've seen it, obviously, like I mean,
when they
I
announced
really liked it.
When they announced it, we lost Scott Derrickson, and then a month or so went by, and they were like, hey guys, it's gonna be Sam Raimi. I was like, oh shit, that couldn't be more. I kind of had an opposite reaction as you.
And I mean, I was like, oh man, Sam Raimi. I was like, we're gonna get some cheesy ass Bruce Campbell cameo.
Well, we did.
You're right. But you know what? It was a perfect cheesy Bruce Campbell cameo.
It was so good.
It was really good.
They're real. I'm telling you what, dude. I'm about to stop waiting for the very ends of these motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get that mid-credit scene, and I'm gonna be like, okay, let's go. We'll see it tomorrow online.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they are at this point, they are just fucking with us on those very end ones.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. I mean, they did. What was the other one that they did that was Captain America, and it was like, patience.
So good.
I was like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah,
it was a Spider-Man movie.
It was Far From Home.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah, it was Far From Home.
So anyway, Doctor Strange 2, where do you put it on your list? Because I mean, honestly, like there was a lot going on in that movie. I am so glad that they made the Scarlet Witch the bad guy in that movie. But she was so empathetic. Like it was so easy to be empathetic with her.
I walked out of that movie so damn excited.
For the future of the Marvel universe,
just
right?
in general, I just like the back half of that. I loved the whole thing. I loved how that movie was nonstop. Yeah, that shit literally hit the ground running.
Yeah, it did,
and it didn't let up, and that's good. Like you were never bored. I was fucking bored for 30-40 minutes in Spider-Man No Way Home, and just like I was not super into it right away. This was the opposite right from the get-go, and then me and the group that I was with that usually we all go together. Yeah. We were just elated. We walked out of that thing like that was amazing.
This is. I hate to cut you off. God damn it! There's for some reason we have got to fix this shit. And we should just all go as one big fucking group. Yeah. Because we go to basically almost the same show.
Because you still drive out to Cinemark, right?
If I can get tickets over there, yeah. I mean, the one that's the best, nicest, closest theater to here still.
No Way Home was the first time that I couldn't get a Thursday. We didn't see No Way Home until Saturday night.
Oh, that's right. You texted me because I was like, because I was like about to drop spoiler bombs on you, and you were like, I haven't fucking seen it.
That was in the long time, the first time we had to wait 2 days. But I got them even with Strange. We didn't go till 9 p.m. because six was too full. But
so you do the 6. So I always do the 7 o'clock show. It's
got to be XD.
Yeah, well, see, even if I can't get XD, like I will
won't
still
not do XD.
Well, see, I will always. So here's the thing with me. Like I know that weekend I'm gonna have to go see it with my mom.
Yeah.
So I will go see it with my mom at noon or 1 o'clock in XD on Saturday.
Oh well, then you're getting. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I will So Ryan Landrum, who's comes on the show all the time, is one of my best friends. So Ryan and Brian are like my two best friends, like the three of us. So like it's the three of us, and we used to take our buddy Doug, but like I don't know, like he kind of fell off. But this last one, my daughter is actually old enough where she's like, I want to go to one of these opening nights, so I took her to Doctor Strange too, and she was super into it. But we always hit 7:00 because it's not too late. And when you get out,
but you've already seen it in XD.
No. I'm talking about Thursday night, opening night. Yeah, Thursday night, 7 p.m. That's where we're going.
Okay.
It doesn't matter what show.
I don't know, man.
I refuse to see it in 3D.
Oh no, not 3D.
I can't watch a 3D
not
movie.
3D.
Yeah,
not
but
3D.
XD.
Gotta go to XD.
If I get it, like, so
that's
I have
why
the
I'll
alerts.
wait. I'll go late. Like if I don't get the 6 p.m. XD, we'll just go late and we'll be tired Friday. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like,
So like I usually buy. Like, I have an alarm set on my phone. Like, when the tickets go on sale, like, I'm on Cinemark's website, and I'm buying tickets right when they go on sale. And I usually just buy all 4 tickets, and then I make those motherfuckers
that's
buy
what
me
we
beers.
like. We got. I want to give a quick shout out to our group. It's my wife Sarah, and then Steven.
Yeah.
And which we need to get him in here next time.
Yeah, for real. God damn it.
And
Steven tuned in, actually. I saw him log in for a little bit. He's not watching right now, but, holler, Steven.
But, and then our friends, Josh and his wife, Amy.
Yeah.
Like, we know, like if any of us gets online, you're not buying one, you're going to get 5 tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, we buy, it's hard to buy an
most
odd
of the
number,
time.
I'm sure. You know what I mean? Like, we could probably do, see, y'all have 5, and
Yeah.
we have 3 solid.
So every now and again, there's a 6th there or whatever. But that,
Yeah,
like, we have a movie group every Sunday. We meet at my house, and we do
I see
series
your-
of
I see
movies.
your
Yeah,
post.
you see the post.
Yeah, I
so
see your
so
post.
that's the group there, and so we've gotten really really close, and that's
super
it's
cool.
cool. It's a lot of fun. I love having a group like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so like moving forward, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of
Yes.
Madness, it kind of, Spider-Man No Way Home obviously ripped apart the multiverse, kind of semi put it back together. Doctor Strange 2 kind of elaborates on that whole thing of like, where Wanda is Wanda dead? We don't know if Wanda's fucking dead. I don't think she is because they still have contracts on Elizabeth Olsen, so I'm sure that she's coming back for more movies, which is great because she's super sexy, and I really want to see her in more movies. But obviously
she's
Scarlet Witch.
a character that I didn't really like at first. Like,
That's because you've never
read.
read House of M. If you've read that, like,
Yeah.
I would encourage
everybody.
you.
God damn it! I swear to God, I feel like that's the only thing anyone says is House of M.
It's
House
one
of M.
It's
House
probably
of M.
it's probably top 10. I'd say it's top 5 comic series that have ever been
At
written.
this point, I know that. Even though I haven't read that, I know. Because that is like ever since
it changes the entire fucking Marvel universe in the comics. I mean, she finds out. I mean, it's basically the same storyline, but she finds out that Professor Xavier has hidden the fact that she has kids in another
Is she dead?
I don't remember. I have to go back and read it.
In our movies. In our
do you think she's dead?
Do I think she's dead? Is our 616 Wanda
No,
dead?
she's not dead.
I don't think so.
No,
either.
I don't think so.
Because they built her up too much to
Yeah.
die in that.
No. There's no way she's
And
dead.
that was a pretty cool. I really liked the end of that. Dude, the end of that.
Yeah,
dude.
so good. The end of it.
That shit was so good that my wife and I have gone and started watching Sam Raimi films from the beginning of his filmography.
I mean, the when she's coming out of the fucking reflections, when she grudge crawls out of the fucking
the music, fight.
Yeah.
What, dude? I lost my shit.
Yeah, it was great.
Danny Elfman, dude.
Oh yeah.
And like
I've never seen a picture of Danny Elfman, but I just fucked up her whole thing. He's like a punk rock fucking
he
guitar
was the singer
player.
of Oingo Boingo.
Yeah.
And
I watched a thing the other day and it said that, and I was like, holy shit.
He performed at Coachella.
I saw that.
Have you watched footage from that?
Yeah, I did.
It's incredible.
Yeah, he's fucking great. He just kind of fell into the composer role too.
Yeah.
I forget what his first role was, like they hired him for first, but he was like, yeah, I just kind of did this.
Probably
thing.
Tim Burton.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think it was
Well,
you're right. It was Nightmare Before Christmas.
And he's singing for Jack in that
Yeah,
movie.
he does.
That is Danny Elfman singing.
Exactly. And he tries to do that's right because they cut the speaking parts because he couldn't. The speaking parts didn't sound right.
Yeah,
and so they brought in.
It's not Johnny Depp.
No, the guy that does the voice for Jack Skellington is the guy that does Prince Humperdinck from Princess Bride. I don't know what the guy's Christopher.
That's that
guy. Whatever fucking that guy's name is.
The Princess Bride wasn't one of those for me. A lot of people put that in their shrines. Like
yeah, it's in my shrine.
It's not in my
for
shrine.
sure.
But I get it. I see, I see the love that people have for it. Like, but anyway. Yes,
right.
Multiverse of Madness was great. Again, I'm gonna need rewatches on that.
I've seen it twice.
It's in my top 10 right now.
Yeah, I put it up there in mine too.
I walked out so stoked that it immediately went into my top 10. We'll see if it stays up there. But yeah.
All right, well, that catches us up currently with the MCU. Now, moving forward, we got to talk about one more. There's a lot of shit coming out, but we're just not going to have time to talk about it.
We have trailers.
We have
right
trailers for. Okay, we'll talk about the two things we have trailers for.
3.
3?
Thor, Thor, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're right. Miss Marvel did release a trailer.
We don't need to talk about Thor that much because we kind of know.
We don't even know what's going on.
There's a lot of speculation. We have no fucking clue what's going on. I can't wait to see what Christian Bale looks like.
Yeah.
I think that from what we've seen of, we didn't know what to expect from Natalie Portman. I think she looks awesome. I think Thor looks awesome. I love the blue and yellow suit.
Yeah, it's very comics accurate.
I also trust Taika Waititi.
Oh, I 100%.
So I'm not worried about Thor.
So if Thor: Love and Thunder traces the comics in any kind of way,
which we already know that there's literally a panel.
Yeah. Yeah, they've done shot-for-shot comparisons. Basically, Christian Bale plays Gore the God Butcher. There's a lot of scenes in this movie where, like, you see this big giant beast that's dead that Thor, and they're looking at all sad. Pretty sure Gore the God Butcher killed that thing. But Natalie Portman's character is wielding Mjolnir, and it is basically like making her strong, but she has cancer in the comics, and it is killing off her ability to fight because she's poison immune, so it doesn't let the chemo work, so the cancer is killing her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like through that, like there's a lot of things that kind of happen in that storyline with the Mighty Thor thing. And
I'm really curious in the movie. I'm really curious how that's all gonna go down.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure it'll be the cancer thing because we haven't seen it in a while. But regardless of that, the actual steps that happen that puts her in that suit.
And so one of the things that is interesting is some of the shots that they show is the bad guy is obviously, we've already said this, Christian Bale plays Gore the God Butcher. And in the Marvel universe, the Greek gods and
they all exist.
They all exist together. Hercules is the
Egyptian gods.
And the Egyptian gods. They all exist together. So there's a shot of them on Mount Olympus. And you see the back of Russell Crowe holding a fucking thunderbolt. You know what I mean?
A lot of speculation that he's not going to last long.
I don't think so either. Because I mean, obviously, Gore the God Butcher is going to have to come in and slay some gods. So he's going to come in and kick. But
that is funny. Like not only is like the multiverse busted open and like everything that we've seen on screen is canon now.
Yeah.
Supposedly. But not only that, but in our 616 universe, all the gods exist. The only ones that they haven't like shown that exist are our Christian gods. And then you have that whole Mephisto thing, who is the devil.
Yeah,
so we'll see what happens.
We'll see where that goes. Yeah. I mean, and that's maybe that's who the savior of the MCU is. It's fucking at the end, and it's the second coming of Christ, and comes back.
Dude, it's never gonna end. I'm like, when is this gonna end?
Anyway,
Thor looks great. Thor's gonna be great.
I totally trust Taika Waititi with that. I'm 100% with you on that.
Excited to see Guardians again.
I'm excited. Yeah, excited. Yeah. I'm excited. I like the preview of him getting in shape. I like him with the fucking Avengers hat where he has it crossed out that says strongest Avenger. Yeah, I mean it looks great. So the first trailer we got actually for TV show was Miss Marvel, which is focusing on Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel.
I know nothing about this person.
They have totally destroyed this character. So they're giving her almost the same kind of powers as Captain Marvel. But they've already entered. Okay, so
I think
in the comics,
did they do that for a reason?
I don't know. But maybe, but they've already fucked that reason up.
Like I don't care.
I know you don't care. So in the comics, and this is gonna fuck it up for you, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. So in the comics, Kamala Khan is actually an Inhuman. She was morphed by the Terrigen Mist, who. Black Bolt, the king of the Inhumans, who we saw in Doctor Strange 2. We didn't even talk about John Krasinski's fucking cameo as Mr. Fantastic.
It was great. I love it.
Oh my god!
But I
stood up in the movie theater.
No, that was fantastic. Okay. I loved it so much.
I like that pun that you dropped there.
Yeah.
So
on
anyway,
purpose.
So Kamala Khan, she's a huge fan of Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, in the comics, and she is transformed by the Terrigen Mist, which they showed in Agents of Shield.
She gets like a bracelet.
In the movie,
in
the show.
Yeah.
So this thing is actually, I think that's a part of like Chitauri tech or something like that. But anyway, so in the comics, she's like stretchy, like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
She calls it embiggen. She can like make herself big and stuff like that.
Kind of like Green Lantern-ish.
No,
I got you. I got you.
But in the movie or in the show where they're going is they've totally changed her powers and made it more closely.
I do see some like big fists in the trailer.
In the trailer, they're making it more like Green Lantern style.
But either way, this is one of those, and again, whatever they're gonna give me, I'm gonna most likely enjoy.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna watch it with a huge erection.
I'm going into this thing. Cool. She's young. Be careful. No, I'm kidding.
I'm talking about the show, not about her sexuality.
I know. But I can't wait for it. Like I can't wait for any of this stuff. Yeah,
me either. And so the trailer that we just got this week, actually, the one that I'm actually most excited about and have been for a while, because it gives like a whole new side of the MCU, and I was really hoping that they would take this like sexuality standpoint that the fucking comics took.
It seems like they are.
Yeah, it does. The She-Hulk trailer, me and my wife watched it together, and I was like, this is going to be fucking great. I don't care if the CGI wasn't done enough for the trailer.
Whatever.
Who gives a fuck? We know that it'll be good for the show. Get the fuck over it, people. But I mean,
I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see Mark Ruffalo back.
Yes,
I'm really looking forward to their. I hope that there's a lot of cool like scenes of him training her and all.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to the Hulks.
Yes, Hulk out.
And I'm really curious about really what's going to happen with like the courtroom drama stuff.
Yes, because and I think that like this is a good way for them to introduce Matt Murdock even further into the MCU.
Also, the Attorney at Law subtitle is wonderful.
Yeah, because I mean they could basically make this fucking She-Hulk Ally McBeal. You know what I mean? Like that's basically essentially what it's going to be.
It'll inevitably come to a big.
Fight scene.
Which everyone says that's the problem, but I think that's what we're here for.
That's what I came for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Let's have some fun.
I didn't buy a hooker to fucking play chess with. I bought a hooker for a reason. You know what I mean?
I can't wait to see Abomination.
Yes.
What is he going to do? How big? I hope he's a decent sized part of this.
I think he'll be. I think that like she's gonna probably be having to represent him for.
I want to know. I want to know what the hell was he doing in Shang-Chi with Wong? Like what was that all about?
I think they're training him to be a hero.
Well, sure, yeah, interesting. But did Wong sneak him out or
no? How would he get him out of the cage?
He's the Sorcerer Supreme,
which I don't like. By the way, we didn't talk about this. I do not like the fact that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme.
I think it's an interesting like. Kind of like an against the grain kind of a thing.
I don't like it at all.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, whatever. At the end of Doctor Strange 2, with Charlize Theron and coming in as Clea, who's Dormammu's niece.
Oh yeah,
we didn't talk about that at all. I mean, but that's going to open up. She eventually
talk about that when there's something to talk about.
Yeah, she eventually marries Doctor Strange in the comics and becomes the Sorcerer Supreme way later on.
That was so out of, that was something that I would have never like. That was way out of left field.
I heard rumors that she was joining the MCU, but I didn't know.
I didn't hear
capacity.
A rumor. I didn't hear.
Yeah, I heard that
Nothing.
rumor.
Nothing.
So anyway, back to She-Hulk. I'm super looking forward to She-Hulk. I think it's going to be.
That's just one that's been known about for so long.
Yeah.
Like because they announced it when they announced all of them.
Yeah.
And
Secret
so
Invasion.
Oh God, I cannot see. I don't like all that stuff. And we still have Ironheart. We still have Armor Wars.
They have not.
We still have.
Yeah, but they have not said anything about Ironheart. They haven't said anything about Armor Wars.
We're going to meet her in Wakanda forever.
That's a rumor only.
I don't think so.
I think it's a rumor only. That has not been confirmed. The only thing, they haven't confirmed anything for Wakanda forever except the fact that obviously T'Challa is dead.
I would put a lot of money down that she's showing up in Wakanda forever.
The only thing that I have heard moving forward of the MCU outside of the trailers that we've seen is that Kevin Feige did confirm that Secret Invasion takes place during the 5-year blip.
So I haven't seen anything about that or read anything about that, but somebody did tell me that. And that's strange to me because I was thinking Secret Invasion was going to be kind of like an Avengers of the TV shows,
No.
where we see everyone come back finally together.
No.
But I guess not.
No, I think that where they're moving towards, because of Doctor Strange 2 and the mention of incursions and shit like that, I think that they're moving. I think that your big, like what you're talking about, your big endgame moment is going to be Secret Wars, where you have an
read this.
incursion
Yeah.
and you just end up with Battle World and Doctor Doom, King of Battle World, and everybody is like, you have
Jesus.
multiple versions of multiple people living in factions,
But they're not-
on the same world, and they're like having to fight each other at Doctor Doom's will.
That'll be fun, and that'll be a big, awesome thing. But the problem is you're a lot of those people you're not going to see until that movie.
Yeah.
And the reason Endgame was such a big deal is because they took the time to make you care about each and every
What do you think
one
they're
of those
doing?
people.
What do you think they're going to be doing between now and then?
Not every version of every character.
Sure, they will.
No.
Not every version of every character, but you don't think that you're going to have fucking Chris Evans, Captain America, having to fight fucking Chris Evans, Human Torch?
I don't know, man.
Or fucking Killmonger having to
I
fight
don't
fucking
know,
Human
man.
Torch, Killmonger?
God,
Come
I
on.
don't know.
John Krasinski's.
Why,
Anyway.
But why? Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know.
We don't know. It's too much speculation. Anyway, She-Hulk is one of the things that, like, I'm the most excited about because, I mean, it has a lot of really good, strong female leads in it. And, just actresses that I'm a super fan of.
Yeah,
Renee
but-
Elise Goldberry from Hamilton. She was.
Oh, yes.
She's in it.
And I didn't even
Jamila,
recognize her.
yeah, I didn't either. I had to go look at the credits. Jamil, whatever her name is. She played Tahani from The Good Place. I don't know if you've ever watched The Good Place.
Not enough of it.
Oh my God, it's such a good show.
I've seen most of the first season, and yeah, it was something I need to go back to for. I know this. I know.
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So she's in it also.
But what's her face? To me, she is the best part of Hamilton.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so I'm really excited she's in this, even though she won't be like singing. Maybe, I don't know.
You don't know that.
But yeah, She-Hulk's going to be great, and it's going to be a whole different vibe, and I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
All
and
right.
I want to know why he. I hope we find out why he looked like Bruce Banner in Shang-Chi, and I hope we found out how they fixed his arm.
Yeah, and I think that, so somebody was saying something like, I think that he's discovered enough in that gamma lab that he's figured out that, like, the fact that he turns into Hulk has to do with the way and the amount of gamma radiation or something like that that he absorbed at that point, and it's genetic to him and his family. That's why She-Hulk transforms also, because of the amount of gamma radiation that was released during the snap kind of triggered her also.
And this is going to be 9 or 10 half hours.
Yeah,
Instead of 6 hours.
Yeah, it's going to be 10. They said it's going to be 10 episodes,
Yeah.
10 half-hour episodes.
Yeah. So that'll be a nice long run.
Yeah, and what's the other show that they announced that they said?
Me personally, I prefer the 6-episode hour longs.
Yeah, I mean that's like 6 movies. But
Even though my favorite still was Wanda, which was the half hours.
yeah, but those were, I mean, those followed sitcom format.
God damn it, I love WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, not to take us off track, but if you watch like the press announcement for Stranger Things 4, they said that some of those
I did see that.
Some of those episodes are
I could tell you
movie length plus.
I've
some
watched,
of the episodes are 2.5 hours long.
They're not, and the last 2 episodes aren't coming right away.
Yeah. You only get episodes 1 through 6 or something like that. 1 through 7.
Yeah, and then the 5th season will be the last season. Again,
No, it's season 4, part 2.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen every episode of Stranger Things, but
have
I could, if you ask me any questions
We're not
about
gonna
them,
get into Stranger
I know,
Things,
I
too.
know, but I couldn't answer. What I'm saying is I probably couldn't answer if you asked me a question about it.
Yeah.
It's all out of my head. I
haven't
don't
watched it in so long. They've waited too long. They waited too long between releases. It's
Well, I
definitely
do.
not-
But I think in the long run it'll help it'll make this 4th season bigger.
Yeah,
anyway,
I think
anyway.
so. Anyway, all right. So
It's all canon. It's all Stranger Things. David Harbour's going to show up. And,
as Red Guardian and fucking yeah.
He's in Russia.
All right. So we are out of time. We are way past time, but we had a lot of ground to cover. We probably should have edited this down a little bit. Whatever. I think this was a great episode. We did have a lot to talk about.
We got to do it more often. That way, this doesn't happen.
God damn, yeah, we do. I mean, well, we have to podcast more often. We haven't. This is like the second. This is like the 3rd episode we've done like in like 6 months or so. I don't know, something like. Anyway, thank you guys for coming and joining us, whoever's still left on the live stream. Kyle, thank you so much for coming out and hanging out.
Yeah, man.
Jake bailed on me last minute and for Astros tickets, but whatever. We have been Gentlemen No Class. Don't forget, I'm going to put it up on the screen again. 25% off your online orders. You order online, go pick it up at Eureka Heights through their drive-thru. Use code ClassyBoys for 25% off of your online order. Tell them Gentlemen No Class sent you. Go to painstakingart.com on Instagram, Facebook. Check them out. Go over in Edo. That area of town in Houston's coming up real big. Go see Tracy. Go see Gabe. Go see Vincent. Tell them Gentlemen No Class sent you. We'll have some materials hanging out at the tattoo shop and stuff like that. And go in there. They're having, make sure you follow them Instagram, Facebook. We'll be doing all kinds of events. And I'll be out there hanging out for most of them probably, because, Tracy's one of my best friends and I got to help him out. So, and we'll get them back on the show at some point. We're going to podcast from the tattoo shop and show y'all what's going on out there. Tracy's actually trying to start his own podcast, which will be fucking interesting as shit because he wants to call it Thor's Hammered, and it sounds fucking hilarious. So we'll get that set up at some point. I have been Rob, and this is Kyle, and Paul's over here in the corner. Thanks for coming and hanging out, Paul. And we have been Gentlemen No Class, and we will see y'all next time. So this is the part of the podcast where we listen to this song that Paul wrote that's playing, and we talk shit about it.
Did you make all the intro music and everything?
Well, yeah, no. So if you put your headphones back on, you can listen to this. So Paul wrote this song, and I keep telling him it's a rip-off of the Stranger Things theme song, and he's going to get sued. But, yeah, Paul wrote this, and then the intro song, I think Jake paid somebody on Fiverr to write, yeah. But, yeah, that way we don't get sued. We own all this music, so it's whatever it is. If you want to write us something better, like, you're still writing music, we'll put your shit on here, too.
I got too many projects.
If you're still listening right now, go check out Kyle Durst's music, and you can listen to all the cool shit that Kyle's doing.
I didn't know that it was that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you can find stuff under my name, Kyle Durst. We do 90s covers under the Syndicates. And then I also work with my old great friend, Andy Rodesny, with a project called Loose Ends. You know where to find music. So just go search for that shit.
It's all there. Same place you find our podcast. All right. See you later.